Alright, what's up everybody? My name is Nick NacSquared Schneider. I'm joined alongside Brad System Stats Chalassier. This is part in the Intel, a new web series we are starting with the Halo community. We're going to have a list of topics that we're going to run down along with some guest speakers every once in a while. So we're going to start this series off on the first episode by introducing ourselves, who we are, our experience, and where we've been around the league. So like I said, my name's Nick. I'm known as NacSquared around the community. I've been following competitive Halo since probably like the Halo 2 days, the final boss, Walshy, and all that stuff. USA TV and all that junk, which was fun. Kind of competed a little bit in Halo 3, went to some events in Halo 3, Meadowlands, and
Point check.
Yeah, right. And Halo 4 and Reach, I kind of faded away. I wasn't too much into the scene, but came back in H2A, attended UGC St. Louis, Iron Gaming Columbus, yeah, and PGL Indianapolis. Placed pretty well at all of those, got top 16 at St. Louis, and coached the Bittersweet team at Indianapolis. And that's where I've stood so far. So Brad, you want to introduce yourself?
So, gamertag System Stats, name Brad. Started around 08 in Halo 3. I mean, I've been playing Halo since Halo 1, but didn't really get into Mulch or the comp scene till Halo 3. Didn't go to any events in Halo 3. I was pretty young, but I don't know. I mean, like I was a 15 MLG, but that didn't mean shit, you know. Then Reach came around. I went to like the very first Reach event. Went to like a few more in that. Did okay. Won some FFAs online and like some other stuff, but nothing spectacular. And then once Halo 4 came around, I went to school at Florida State and stayed there for all 4 years and kind of didn't really keep up with Halo during that time. So like the whole Halo 4 to H2A I kind of missed out on.
Right.
But now I'm back for Halo 5.
Yeah, so we've both been competing in Halo 5 a little bit, Brad more so than I have in the Open Cups and whatnot. And did you go to Chattanooga? Or yeah, you did, right?
I did go to Chattanooga.
So
Chattanooga, bro.
Yeah, so he went there, and then I'm actually planning on going to UGC St. Louis. So
I plan on being at a football game.
Yeah, that's interesting. Part of the AM drama. So we're going to go ahead and now run down a list of topics that we've accumulated, and we're going to start getting community input as far as what topics to discuss along with the guest speakers. So our first topic we like to talk about is Pro League drama, and I think the first thing is clearly, as you see on your screen, Stellar, Kratos, and the E6 organization. So let's give everyone a rundown of what all went down as far as you know.
As far as I know, well, first off, at chat, like, games, like, dominance-wise for E6, like, I guess from online, or, like, the live stream, it seems like they dominated pretty well, but I don't know, the atmosphere at there was that they weren't as dominant as they should have been. Like, they dropped some games to, like, some teams that, they shouldn't have lost games to, basically. They probably shouldn't have lost a game at all. Maybe to Elite Four, that makes sense. Like, Elite Four is a pretty solid squad, but other than that, maybe Miranda's team too, Team Miranda, which always is weird to me.
But even them, like
Team Miranda.
Yeah, being an
eSports
team, or being
so,
a
yeah,
top 2 team.
They should have been way more dominant. Like, Elite Four had a last-minute fourth in Ares. Sure, he's veteran. Don't get me wrong, like great player, but they didn't practice at all. So E6 should have been more dominant than they were. So that might have led into this discussion about payment. And what happened was apparently Kratos told Stellar that he was going to get like $3,000 salary, and then later told him that with taxes it goes down to like 2.5 thousand. And then when it came around to him and him and Suspector getting their contracts, the salary was only 1.5 thousand, and he was pretty upset about that because he said if he had known originally that it was only going to be 1.5 thousand, he would have went to a different organization and would have teamed with other people.
Right.
so spawns this clusterfuck
Right.
of him trying to get more money and basically E6 kicking him off the team.
Right. So is he officially off the team now?
Oh yeah, he's been running with that ex-Optic squad of APG Hines, in place of Maniac, APG Hines and Ace.
Yeah. Okay, so do you think that, like, did they have any issues at chat as far as the team, like, personally, or did it all stem from just this? Because I know him and Aiden Suspector are really good friends, or they seem to be. Now, do you think that there was issues before this, or did it all stem from this contract talk?
Probably all stem from the contract talk.
Right.
I mean, it didn't seem like. I mean, they had no reason to really get too upset at each other at chat because I mean they were winning every game.
Right.
But yeah, I mean I didn't really talk to any of them at chat, but they didn't. From what I saw, they didn't seem to like argue with each other or anything. They seemed to be like have a positive mindset whenever they dropped a game in the series, and like Kratos was always that leader, like trying to keep everyone positive. So it didn't seem like there was any bad blood. So I think it was once the contract came out afterwards and they Stellar saw the contract, that's when it all kind of blew up.
Right. And the E6 organization had tweeted something in response to all of Stellar's accusations. I guess Stellar had came out and said stuff like they had threatened his family or something of that sort.
I'll find your family in 5 minutes, something like that.
Yeah.
Or we can find your family in 5 minutes. I kind of want to see the source on that, Like,
right, I know, I haven't seen
there's no reason for him to lie. Like, don't get me wrong. It's not that I don't believe him, but it's like, I want to see the actual transcript.
I agree. Yeah, I haven't seen that either.
But that is a little weird. But, there has been stuff like this in the League of Legends community before, where, like, one of the players was, like, two organizations were, like, fighting over him, one of them being TSM. And, the other organization, I can't even remember which one anymore, but they said how like they could find his mom and like they didn't mean it. I mean, I guess they maybe kind of wanted to use it as like an intimidation thing, but they mean it in a way, professionally speaking, as like that's who like is the guarantor of the contract or like is the because they're not old enough or whatever, the person responsible for like the payment or etc. So when they say they can find his family in 5 minutes, yeah, it's definitely an intimidation like tactic, but it's also because like that's like the person who's like really gonna have like the last say in it.
Responsible for like the contract.
Yeah, like I don't know how old Stellar is, but I know he's younger. I don't know if he's young enough to have a guarantor or like his parents in charge of that, but might be something to do with that.
Yeah, I could definitely see what you're saying there. I mean, and because he's definitely under 21. He might even still be under 18.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess they could have meant it in that regard, but it certainly blew up around the community as far as being a threat, and Stellar like to put it as that way on Twitter. And now the drama's been kind of between Kratos and Stellar on Twitter, and they had their last league matches, which they played against the new Optic, right? I believe they played against the new Optic.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Which was Snakebite, Royal 2, and Lethal, and Frosty. And game 1, I believe, someone quit out, or they forfeited.
According to Kratos on Twitter, hold on, let me see if I can remember before I look it up. I think he said something like, somebody couldn't join the game, and they wouldn't invite him, and they timed out, and like because of the timeout, they got forfeited the first match or something like that. I'm not sure.
Right. So according to Lethal, he just reported the forfeit, and Kratos was complaining that he just beat him to the forfeit because they never even gave him the fair invite. But
right.
So they lost game 1, and then game 2, Stellar quits out, and apparently someone had signed into his Xbox or his account on a different Xbox, and rumors are circulating. Lethal had, talked about Envision that Showtime, one of their coaches, had Stellar's gamertag on his Xbox at one point, and that he thinks they were trying to, undercut Stellar for all the stuff he's been talking about and just make him look bad.
Yeah. Oh shit. My fucking power's going out right here. What the hell? I think I'm okay.
All right. I don't see Stellar being the type. There would be no reason really for him to quit out of that second game, even though they weren't. Apparently, they weren't even in the same Skype call, which is
Yeah, you could tell
crazy.
watching the game. You could 100% tell. They'd all be like crouching in red base. Star would be like flying out P Street or Bridge, and it just like he'd die like probably like if I was him, I'd turn around and be like, "Where's everyone?"
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
Like,
But I don't see him being the kind of kid to just quit out. I mean, he's still gonna try for himself.
yeah,
But
he was clearly trying in all those games. Like, I mean, it's uh, kind of immature in my perspective to kind of force E6 to play with him.
right.
Like, you already know you're kicked off the team. Move on, dude. Just start running with other teams. Just like if you want to like cut this as clean off as you can and just get over with it, just let them let them play their pro league matches with whoever's going to be their fourth. Like, don't try to stop them and like sabotage the team. And to top that, like he didn't really sabotage the team. He did try to play his best. So maybe he didn't have any options at the moment. Wasn't running games with anyone else. But I don't think he should be still trying to prevent them from running it with other people. That doesn't make sense to me.
Now, with the new format, is there a point system in that if he didn't play that week at all, would he have lost out on potential points, or
No.
so he could have just not played this week or that week and been fine, honestly. Now, was there a contractual obligation? Was the roster lock in place, kind of like the old Optic team? They had to play. Did he have to play on that team, and E6 had to play with him because there wasn't the ability to change the roster, maybe?
Well, what it is he's stuck on the roster until after week 2 matches. So what they would have had to do is him like write to ESL saying, you know, I'm unable to play this week, and like give them reasons, which I think he has plenty enough reason. I mean, hell, you know, E6 might take his family. That's enough reason, right? But yeah, like you just kind of get subbed out. So it's like you're still on the roster until after week 2, but you just get subbed out. So there's nothing like against the rules really per se, preventing that from happening.
Yeah, we'll see how that continues to develop throughout the next few weeks. Obviously, Stellar finds a new squad, and I'm sure they'll have a matchup soon. So we're going to jump on now to the AM drama. Apparently, there's been some beef recently with Prototype and Tire Iron. You want to explain that situation?
Yeah, hold on. I want to try to find that video because I know you haven't seen it yet, and it's funny.
So apparently,
Alright, I just found the oddshot link. I'm gonna give you it in Skype.
while Brad finds this stuff, Prototype and Tire Iron had teamed together during the Dream Team organization and competed at a few events, I believe. Let's find this video real quick. We'll pull it up.
Is there where you could show everyone?
Yeah.
Cool.
Watching, so we'll go ahead and play this.
I died.
We have to stop Cat. They're gonna.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
we got play. We got play. Yeah, good play.
Let's
Good play.
fucking suck. Let's go, Zeke. You're fucking
go,
awful. Let's go.
Shit, dude. Played
Our
that fucking
matchup, sorry, I
perfect,
gotta
bro.
take my
We just
dog
need
for
to
a
like
walk. Fucking easy, man. 3-0.
when they get
These kids
control, bro.
fucking
Just
blow.
fucking do stuff
I'm going
together.
for a cigarette. I'll be right back. I'm hype. Fuck Zeke. Stank ass breath faggot.
Oh my
Yo,
god.
chill.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah, be
That's way too
family
extra.
shit.
That's way too extra. Like, nah.
Oh, well, wait.
Holy.
Alright, I'm good. Yeah, you gotta chill, man.
Yeah, good time.
Alright, Shame. I appreciate.
All right, so everyone just saw that. Obviously,
Little hype.
yeah, he was
from
hyped,
Tire
and I
Iron there.
understand that happens, and apparently they had some beef beforehand that caused him to be a little angry. So I guess Prototype saw this probably and responded. Prototype not do anything.
Shit, I don't know if he did, honestly. I just saw it all over Team Beyond, and like, who were like, dude, what the fuck?
Right.
Oh wait, I forget his Twitter's Pete his hype or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, I got it now. So.
Yeah, well, I don't know what he said, but I remember the start of Halo 5, you know, they're doing all the online qualifiers. Basically everything for the start of Halo 5 was online. Excuse me. And Dream Team was kind of like a team that kept consistently placing like top 4, top 8, top 6, whatever it was, and had like the 4 seed or pretty good seed throughout like the first 3 or 4 tournaments. And then I think it was around like the second or third one that I think they dropped Eccentric. I should probably tell you the lineup. It was Posey, Juicy Fruit, Eccentric, and Tire Iron. And then they end up Eccentric either leaves or they drop them. I can't remember which one. And then Prototype joins. And from what I've heard, the intel is Prototype told them they have to consistently keep placing top 8 for him to keep teaming with them. So right off the bat, this guy gives them an ultimatum saying, if you want me to team with you, y'all better keep getting top 8. So that's pretty fucked up. Like, these kids have been doing really well without you. Like, you haven't even placed, like, you're not on a team with nearly as good a seed as them. And you're already giving him that ultimatum just because, you know, I guess of his past. And don't get me wrong, he's a great player. You know, he's done really well in FFA. And Reach, he did pretty well, fours-wise. But it's a pretty weird thing to say.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think it all kind of stems from that, because what he ended up doing with the team is, like, dropping everyone for, like, whoever he wanted. Like, I think Jesse Peace ended up joining in place of Juicy Fruit or Posey or someone. Like, Aries ended up getting on the team. Like, he just kind of, like, mix and match the roster as he pleased. Like, I don't know, it was kind of messed up.
Definitely seemed like it turned into his team.
Yeah, and they only got worse. They only got worse after all these changes he made. They just went down, 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 down.
Yeah, I agree. Whether or not the downfall of that team was necessarily Prototype's addition and his changes, or just the fact that that original team of Posey and Tire Iron, they jumped and grinded on H5 really fast, and I think they beat everyone to learning the game. And I think that might have attributed to their success early on. And once the old pros, you know, the Lethals and CLG's crew came in, and once they really grinded the game and understood, they kind of regained their positioning. Not to say that those 4 guys weren't talented, because obviously they did stick around in the league for some time until a few of them have decided to stop playing now. But yeah, it's definitely interesting. They have a bit of a past for sure. They team together. I haven't found anything from Prototype as a reaction to that. It just seems like some forum drama, and Tire was a little pumped, so I understand that. And apparently they don't get along great now anymore. But
I would be too, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a big win. And
but like somebody was saying in the on the forums, it's like, dude, it's not LAN, you know, like he can't hear you over there.
yeah. No, that's all good stuff. So we'll maybe talk to one of them and get them on the show and see what they have to say and talk about their interactions with each other and whatnot. So we'll jump on to our next topic, and we'll talk about the roster transfers, and obviously the huge one is the CLG crew going to Optic. So Optic basically bought out CLG's contract that they had. Obviously the crew on CLG, Lethal, Royal 2, Snakebite, and Frosty, wanted to go to Optic because they wouldn't have left if they didn't want to, which, who can blame them? Optic is clearly the #1 console organization out there, and there's really no dispute to that.
Even in terms of Twitter followers, like, they have nearly, like, just about to hit 2 million followers, which is really ridiculous.
Right. Yeah, it's nuts, and I think it's really good for the sport as a whole. I think this is huge. Getting a lot of Optic fans over to watch Halo and get Halo back into the scene of the main eSports. But I'm excited for the guys. I think it's cool. You know, I've been a big supporter of Optic since they kind of moved into the house and went through their grind, and their Halo team has struggled recently. But this is going to be something new, and I think they're going to continue to win. They did drop a series to EG this past weekend, but I don't think anyone's too worried about that like you're showing.
I'm not worried about that. Well, if I were them, I wouldn't be. And Lethal said himself on Twitter, like, you could tell, like, weeks before this announcement, like, I kept wondering, like, when the fuck is CLG going to scrim again? I want to watch them play, you know? Like, I love watching Lethal stream, like, Cummies for life. And I didn't see anything. So it's, like, kind of worried about, like, how well they're going to do at the start of Pro League. And then I just got, like, super excited when I saw they're on Optic, and totally forgot about all those scrims they weren't doing for the past, like, I think he said 2 weeks on his Twitter.
Yeah, and I'm sure they had plenty of paperwork and whatnot. Lethal went to the house. I mean, they were taking care of their stuff behind the scenes, I'm sure, to get ready for the season. And I think I just heard Lethal on his stream the other night talk about how now that everything's done, or he tweeted all the paperwork and all that jazz is out of the way, they're finally done, they're ready to hit the sticks, and I don't think anyone's going to doubt that that's exactly what they're going to do. And I think they come into the season the #1 team.
it'll be interesting to see the power rankings from the community after this, but I know I'm still putting Optic as my number one.
Yeah.
Like Envy's another question mark, but let's stay on Optic for right now. One of my friends, Sully, he was saying how like Optic sucks now, and like I feel like people don't realize how like my friend Sully was saying how they still should have won. Like I don't care if they haven't played in 2 weeks. Like they're the goats, you know, they're the God Squad. Like they should still win. No, dude, like
Right.
the highest level of competition, you cannot go 2 weeks without practice.
Right.
Imagine an NFL team not practicing for 2 weeks. Like
It
you're
wouldn't work.
gonna get fucking stomped. Like
Yeah, I definitely agree, and I don't think they're too worried about it. It's tough to just jump back into, you know, playing like that when no warming up or no preparation. So I don't think anyone's worried about that. So we'll talk about now the old Optic squad. So Maniac did retire, which I think a lot of people did see coming if this were to happen, because he had contemplated it for a while now.
becoming a producer.
Yeah, he's got some really sick beats on YouTube.
I haven't listened to any of them, but I've heard they're good.
They are. So we'll see. I think he will stay retired, honestly. I don't see this being a temporary retirement. I think he is done. I think he got pretty frustrated with Halo 5, as a lot of people saw in Vision. He did make a lot of improvements, but it didn't seem like he could grasp this game as well as some people did.
This game's just, you know, it's a breath of fresh air, so to speak, because it's a new game. Like it really is a new game. Like Halo 2 and Halo 3, sure, there's, you know, different elements, like, but still like kind of like the same style. Like just H2A to this game are like worlds apart. And it's just totally different game. So you have to put in the hours, and he didn't really feel like doing that.
Yeah, and I think they definitely tried. I think when it came down to it, if they had to make the Pro League or not, everyone saw their grind and how hard they worked, and they got in, but I think it was pretty evident that there were people working harder and spending more time on the game, learning the new elements. So Maniac will probably stay retired. So where does this old Optic, this LOL squad, we have Ace, Hines, APG, and now everyone's talking about Stellar is probably the easiest fit. Makes the most sense.
I think with Stellar, they could be not bad at all. Like I think somebody was tweeting how this is basically like World's Team Liquid, but Stellar instead of Eco. Yeah, Stellar instead of Eco. So I mean, like that's a pretty strong team, like on paper. But like we've been talking about on paper with this Optic squad for a while now, and it still just hasn't worked out. So I think for now I'd still keep them like towards the lower end, but with the addition of Stellar, like this Pro League is just looking more and more competitive. Like it's gonna be really hard for an AM team to break in.
Yeah, I agree. I think two things that are really important for this new squad is they need a leader, someone to clearly step up and be the leader of this team, because I think they're a team that needs that leadership right now, being a little bit in the rough, whether it be Ace or APG or Hines. I don't know.
I think Hines. I think like a lot of people are like saying like, why the hell did they pick up Hines? You know, they needed a Slayer, but I think what they needed above all else was what you're saying. They needed leadership, and Hines, you know, is that veteran. He's been on those teams. He can definitely be that leader.
Right. And then the second thing that I'd like to see is consistency out of APG, and I think a lot of people will have question marks alongside with that, because he clearly shows that he's good at this game and he knows how to play it, but there's times where he seems to go a little MIA, and whether or not he can stay consistent, I think, could determine how good they do in this league this season.
Yeah, T2 was just saying like about like the top AM guys, like how some of them look like incredible, but like the thing is you have to be consistently incredible in order to, you know, break into Pro League. So he needs to be consistently incredible because he's in Pro League.
I agree. So our next topic, we're going to kind of run down a few of these. We'll keep this show short because it is just our first episode, and we'll get some input from the community and some guest speakers. But next we would go through a power rankings, which Team Beyond has not released the community power rankings for this week yet. We'll talk about that next week. We'd be looking ahead to next week's matchups that will get posted. Have they been posted for next week's yet?
Yeah, I can pull them up really quick.
While he's doing that, I'll keep running down what we'll talk about in future episodes. We'll talk about last week's matchups, how we thought about each of them with the guest speaker. They'll be along here talking about all of them. We'll go through the Halo settings discussions that are commonly found on the Team Beyond forums, Radar, Sprint, stuff like that. We have injuries in eSports that a lot of people noticed that's been happening a lot on the PC scene, and you talk about players like Ogre 2 and whatnot dealing with some fatigue. Organizational issues and lawyers, we have a lot of now. Another situation with Stellar and his contract, and the financial situation seems to be a hot topic, so we'll keep an eye on that kind of stuff. And then finally, we'll come up with, to finish out the show, we'll talk about the upcoming Halo events, open and the online tournaments, which we have Orange County event, the St. Louis UGC event, and the Pro League Gaming Vegas event are all open tournaments, and then a weekly Halo Championship Series matchups. So did you find that this
I did. It's just we still have Optic and CLG like mixed up.
Right.
Alright, so next week Game 1 we have Allegiance and X Optic, now Team LOL.
Here, do you want to send that link to me so I can pull it up for the...
Gotcha.
Thank you. Okay.
And then after that is Envy versus E6, then Luminosity against Enigma 6, and then we got Team Liquid going up against now Optic, old CLG.
Right. Okay. So that'll be, is that Thursday nights or Wednesday nights games?
Yeah, I almost said Saturday. I forgot they're on Wednesday, Thursday now.
Yep. And then Friday or Thursday we'll have Luminosity versus Envy, Liquid versus ALG, CLG versus Optic, which sorry,
Flip.
Yeah, the LOL
Optic
against
versus
Optic.
LOL.
And then Evil Geniuses versus Enigma 6 to finish out the night. So overall, a good week. It's going to be fun to see the Optic versus the LOL. I think that'll be fun to watch. And then honestly, Enigma 6.
Not if you're an LOL fan.
Well, yeah, no, I agree there. Enigma 6 and Evil Geniuses. Evil Geniuses off a hot week, beating the new Optic Gaming, and Enigma 6 picking up whoever their new fourth will be. I think that'll be the primetime event on Thursday night. What are you looking for out on Wednesday night? What do you think is the matchup to watch?
I would say Liquid versus Optic.
Okay.
Because I think Liquid's probably in my top 3 right now. Like, I think it's Optic, Envy, Liquid. Luminosity not too far behind them, but Liquid's definitely up there. I mean, they beat Envy last week. They're a strong team. I think they could definitely cause another upset for this Optic Gaming lineup.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I think it'll be a fun one to watch. So we'll go ahead and wrap up the show. That's kind of the rundown of what the show will look like. We're going to try and do a weekly show and talk about upcoming events and prior matchups. We'll also do guest speakers. So if you guys have any comments, any criticism, any help, we really do appreciate the feedback. Leave it in the comments below. Wow, I sound like Flame Sword. And if you want to be a guest speaker, just reach out to me or Brad, and we'll get you on the show pretty easily. We're gonna try and post these on the forums on YouTube. We're gonna start streaming, hopefully, to do these live and then post them on YouTube so we can get more content. And we're also gonna be doing another web series where we analyze each other's gameplays and others along with a guest speaker and see what we can provide for the community. So we will finish out the show. Any last words, Brad?
I am not affiliated with TSM. I don't want to get like this shut down because of some copyright or contractual issues. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I am just a fanboy.
And I am on the St. Louis Blues. I do play for the hockey team, so come at me with your copyrights. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in this week, and we will see you next week.
Later.